Good evening, everyone. I'm constitutional attorney Catherine Henry, and I'm just coming off of doing another live video talking about the court case to jump right into trying to make legal tools accessible to you. I get still countless phone calls, emails, text messages, you name it. I'm sure there's people out there that are still trying to reach me through Facebook Messenger, trying to ask me for legal help, trying to get me to represent them on a case, to give them advice, to review a document, to draft something. I'm inundated every day. I cannot even remotely keep up with all that is coming at me. There was a point in time where I thought I'm going to be able to get caught up, and I had been promising people that I'm going to keep working at it until I eventually get all caught up, and then I will be able to respond to everyone and answer every question. That's impossible at this point. And so if you are someone who has been expecting an answer from me and you have not gotten one yet, I will do my best to try to reach people, but I am only one person. So with that in mind, what I want to do, though, is not just leave you with no ability to do anything about whatever situation you're facing. I want to be able to give you the tools that you definitely need and could benefit from in order to be able to respond in court, or really to do whatever it is that you need to do to fight for your freedom. A lot of this is going to be specifically geared toward Michigan, because that's where we're at. There's a lot of overlap or similarities between what I'm going to say and what happens in other states. So if you are watching from another state, it's not going to be entirely useless for you to watch. It'll give you some tips and tricks and pointers. So hopefully it could still be of use to you, but certainly if you're in Michigan, this is going to be helpful for you. So a good reference would be the brief that I just put on my website, restorefreedomkh.com, under resources, and then the documents portion of that tab. If you look at the motion and the brief, the motion doesn't really have a lot of references. That's kind of just the summary of the argument. But the brief itself talks about there's statutes, there's constitutional provisions, there's cases, there's Michigan court rules. There's all kinds of things in there. And oftentimes you're probably looking at that, especially if you're not an attorney. And maybe even if you are an attorney, you're looking at one of those citations and you're like, I don't even know what kind of thing that is. How do I look it up? Well, MCL is Michigan compiled law, which I'm pretty sure I have said is codified law, because that must be a Minnesota thing. I was an attorney in Minnesota first, went to law school in Minnesota, college there, finished high school there. So although I was born here in Michigan and most of my family is from here, I did spend quite a bit of time learning the legal framework of things from the Minnesota perspective. And so at any rate, it is Michigan compiled law. Michigan court rules, MCR, is another one that's common. MRE is Michigan Rules of Evidence. So those are going to be some of the main ones when you see those acronyms or initials at the beginning of things. And I'm going to walk you through what some of that looks like. Nope, I have not, Kimberly. I have not taken any time to breathe yet. As soon as I'm done with this, hopefully brief video, I will be going to bed, but we'll see if I can get more than 4 hours of sleep in one night. Okay, just wanted to make sure you guys are welcome. I won't be able to see, well, especially when I'm doing this on my own, I often can't see all the comments, but at this point, I do appreciate the prayer. At this point, I'm going to do a screen share. So you guys are going to be able to see me. No, you're not, because I'm going to do a screen share. You're going to see what my screen looks like. I'm not going to be able to see you, though, or your comments, I should say. So do keep that in mind. Mike, I do want you to check to make sure everything is going to look okay, though, since I won't be able to see what they're seeing. So I don't know if you want to look on your phone or anyway. Okay, so I am going to start the screen share so I can show you some of these key tools to use. That's interesting. Okay. All right, are you on it? Can you see it? Okay. Please continue to check it because I need to know right away if there's something going wrong with it. Okay, guys, so here's some things. Well, actually, let me take a step back. This is the Michigan Legislature's website. If you just Google for Michigan Legislature, you're going to be able to find it. In fact, I'll just go back and I'll just Google for Michigan Legislature. So it's going to be the first one. Of course, I'm pointing at the screen like, oh, no, you guys can, no, you can't see me. It's only a screen share. Okay, so this is, as it says right here, welcome to the new session of the Michigan Legislature. The bill searches now below will return bills for the new session, and there may not be any bills in there yet. And you can go to basically the bill archive if you're looking for 2019 to 2020 session. But what I like to do is actually go to the basic MCL search right here. That's the one I click on the most. If you know what law you're looking up, let's say you want to know, well, I heard Catherine Henry was charged with criminal trespass. What is MCL 750.552? What does that say? You can just put that in there and it'll take you right to that particular law, which basically says Catherine Henry did not do anything that it says here. You can also go to the, if you want to go back to that, you could search for keywords. I have searched for a variety of things: Freedom of Information Act, Precinct Delegates, Open Meetings Act, Court Officer. You could search, do use the quotation marks around your item if you want to make sure those words appear together. And sometimes you're going to get quite a few. This one only has 29, this particular search that I did, but there's quite a few other searches that you can run where you might end up with thousands, and it just kind of gives you a never-ending list of laws to look at. So let's see. One of the other favorites that I have right here is for the Constitution. So this is our state constitution, and it allows you to, they can still hear me, right? Okay. They have on here ways that you can look up the article number. You can look up, by keyword. If you want, you could just look at as a PDF of the whole document as it is. Now, right here, this link will take you to a PDF. This is apparently the section I was on when I last had it open. And, it's a PDF, so you can just scroll all the way through and see every single section of our state constitution. There's a lot here. And I do believe this is a searchable PDF. So if I wanted to search for, free speech or something, there you go. There's 4 times that the word speech is on there. Freedom of speech and press is Article 1, Section 5. There you go. So it is a searchable PDF. Excuse me. But if you do know what, you don't know where, but you just want to search and get a little bit less of a overwhelming response in terms of number of pages you're looking at, you can also search here, and it'll give you the places that term appears in our Constitution. So you can also find the executive orders. So you can search here. Has she issued any in 2021? I guess not. And you can also search, let's see, 2020. Wow, that was an insane amount of executive orders. So what else is available here? There are, the chapter index. This is very important. Well, first of all, public act search. Sometimes you see something referenced by, public act I don't know, 300 of 1976 or something like that. You just put that in. I have no idea which one I'm pulling up. Oh, there we go. So apparently I pulled up the Revised Judicature Act of 1961. But anyway, I was hoping to give you one that was a bigger, like the Michigan Vehicle Code or something like that, but I can't think of one off the top of my head. But the chapter index here this is literally all of our laws from, chapter 1, which is actually our state constitution, all the way down. And there are chapters that aren't here. So for example, we don't have a chapter 740. We have a chapter 730. It jumps to 750, etc. So, I was wrong. I said it was 831. There's 830 is the highest that we have for chapters in our state laws. There are quite a few here. Some of the chapters are very small, and some of them are, large. But oftentimes they'll have divisions or other sections. This particular one, you kind of click and then you kind of have to click into, some more. It's not super complicated, but at any rate, that is an area that you can search. And if you want to search for a key term here, apparently at some point I searched for homeschooling. You can search and see how many times the word homeschool comes up, apparently 0. So it must be that it has a space in there. And if you have 2 words, you're going to want to put the quotation marks around that. And so homeschool appears in all of these different statutes. And I think the only ones that are really going to be talking about homeschooling are going to be in chapter 388 or 380. It's somewhere around the school laws, because other than that, it's going to be in a different context. So you just got to keep that in mind too. So you if you go to the Michigan courts website, I guess I kind of cheated, but if you Google it, you'll get to the Michigan Supreme Court website. If you click on cases, opinions, and orders, well, actually, I was going to talk about the laws. Let me back up because I can't remember how I got to this. So if you go to if you Google Michigan Supreme Court and click on the main link, that'll take you there. Administrative matters and court rules. They change things all the time in here because I don't think that's how I got there before. Yeah, that is totally not where I got there. Well, that's not helpful. I'm trying to show you guys how to get information. Oh, I'm just not seeing it. Well, I'm going to have to use anyway, I did get us to the Michigan court rules here. There's a PDF version or the HTML. You can actually look at an entire chapter right here. So our Michigan rules of professional conduct, that's not actually on here. I think that's what chapter 9 is. Anyway, you have civil procedure rules, which actually a lot of civil procedure rules do apply in criminal cases as well. And then you have, criminal procedure. Misdemeanor cases actually start in district court. So there's a little bit of that there. So it is kind of complicated and things you got to look at, but it is available and you're able to kind of click and search. You have the Michigan rules of evidence. That would be helpful to know. And then local court rules. Oh, there's the Michigan rules of professional conduct. We have a separate set of rules concerning the State Bar of Michigan. Of course, Michigan Code of Judicial Conduct. All of these are the most current versions available on here, as they should be. So I don't remember exactly how I got to where I was, to be honest, but I don't want to waste your time. So, oh, the legal community, I guess, is the tab that it was. So we were, nope, I still have no idea how I got here. At any rate, you could see the live oral arguments if you want to see cases that are happening. But they have court rules, court forms. If you're looking for, if you've heard of SCAO forms, you can search by topic right here, or really the numerical index of them. If you want to see the main topics, those are available right here. So if you were looking for, I don't know, you have a custody case and there's something that you're looking up that you'd like to see, domestic relations, there's a lot of forms that aren't on here, but the ones that are, a lot of them are the FOC forms. And so they're just all available on here, and you can try to find the right one that you're looking for, and you just click on it, and a lot of them are the fill-in PDF forms. So, okay. I'm trying to think of what else it is that I wanted to show you about here. If you are in a situation where you're going to have a jury or a trial coming up, there's model jury instructions, so civil jury instructions or criminal, and there's basically they don't have to be used, but it is something that you're going to want to look through, because you might be able to benefit from knowing how a judge would end up instructing a jury depending on what kind of case that you might have. And despite being on silent, my phone is still doing its thing. So when you go to that Google search, though, and you find the Michigan Court, Supreme Court, there's case search. You can also go to opinion and order search, and you can sign up to receive, there's an opinion and order subscription. You can sign up to receive information about different cases. Yesterday, I was looking for a case with the Michigan Coalition of State Employee Unions. It was at the Michigan Supreme Court level. I hit search, and then it gave me the various cases that had come up in that period of time. You can search by keyword. This is kind of a clunky system. I'm going to be honest. It's not really the best way to try to get a lot of information, but sometimes, especially if you know the docket number and you can type it in here. I have no idea what this case is, but it's a Supreme Court case. I can tell you that. When you search for a particular docket number, oh, well, yeah, that's a case that, anyway, we'll go to a different screen. So this, another tool that I didn't know about myself until just recently is Google Scholar. And you literally can just go to Google Scholar and click on that. I've only ever used the case law part, and you can select which courts you're, if you specifically want Michigan courts, or if you want federal in Michigan, or you want other states. And if you know the citation of the court case you're looking for, or if you know the title, obviously those would be helpful to narrow things down. So this is just one that I searched for earlier. I just needed to quick grab some language from it, and you don't have to log into anything. You just have it here. You can have a custom time range if you know what period of time that the case came from. And the difference here, though, is that you don't necessarily see the page number. So this page number right here goes with the top part of the Northwest Reporter second edition. It does not go with the official Michigan Supreme Court Reporter. I don't think these page numbers, I want to say this is one of those cases that these page numbers were not in there. I prefer to go with the official Michigan Reporter when I'm citing to a case. So this one would be really hard for me to use because those page numbers are not in here. But you can use it if you're just looking for something. It does work because these page numbers at least will give you a way to cite to some sort of page number when you're trying to write down, well, the court said, this part of this quote here. Let me see some of the other things. I'm going to leave this just for a minute here. Okay, so this is one tool that a lot of people, this is because I have access to the State Bar of Michigan, but they do have, public versions of this, or, different versions available. You've probably heard of Westlaw or LexisNexis. These are, this is a alternative to that. Excuse me, it's an alternative to that. Case Text and Case Maker are two different alternatives to those. This one's kind of clunky. It's not the best, but it does, essentially get paid for with my State Bar membership. So I do use this one. And if you do find yourself wanting to look at something like this, you can type in keywords and look. You can type in a particular citation if you know what it is. You do want to narrow down by what state you're looking for. And there's also, I don't know, I tried to open the new one because that's the one I use, but there's ways that you can search just for cases, or you could search different constitutions. You can search for, we talked about jury instructions a minute ago, or, laws, state statutes, or state court rules, all kinds of different things that you can search on here. And let me go back to this for just a moment and then stop sharing so we don't see an infinite amount of my screens. So let's see. The most current copy of our Michigan State Constitution is, you said you put that on a week or so ago, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we did have some amendments that passed in on the November 3rd election. And so 45 days after that is when they go into effect. So of course we didn't have the newest version of the Constitution available to us like right away, but it is available now on the state legislature's website. And so that PDF, the most current one, we also have on our website, restorefreedomkh.com, under the resources tab. The U.S. Constitution is also available there. What's interesting is that, and I didn't even realize this, I just happened to stumble across this. We as a Restore Freedom team are working on some Constitution tools for you, an app that will be available very soon. It's in the process of getting approved through the Play stores and whatever. And we got a ton of tools, right, that we're trying to put in place for you. And in order to build the app, in order to have the actual text of the constitutions on there, we had to send the app developers the constitutions. One of the files that was sent over, the one that we used for the U.S. Constitution, I'm not sure who grabbed it from our team, but they got it from a government website. I would have thought it would have been totally fine. And something about it, I clicked on the attachment, and he said, "Hey, this is what I'm using. Just want to double check." I opened it. Sure enough, it is literally just the initial part of the Constitution, all the articles. It has none of the amendments whatsoever, and that's kind of a problem. So we had to give him an updated version of that. And okay, there's a long comment on there, and anyway, I'll try to get to some of those in a minute. Shoot, I hate when that happens. Mike, what was I talking about? Oh, the constitutions. Anyway, so we made sure that he had the Constitution text with all of the amendments. But do make sure when you're looking for something like that, that just because it comes from a government website doesn't mean, or a reputable website, or it's the highest on the number of hits, when you do a Google search or something like that, oh, it's the first one, it must be good. Just pay attention to what you're looking at. Because like I said, even the government ones aren't necessarily the actual complete Constitution. And it hasn't even been changed in quite some time, but at any rate. So I, briefly went over how to find state statutes and cases. That Michigan Supreme Court website is really a good starting place because you can find, there's a link on there to the Michigan statutes. I didn't really talk about that because we had already talked about state statutes. The case opinions and orders, if you know what you're looking for, you can use that often to find the actual document that you already know exists. And we talked about the Michigan court rules, Michigan rules of evidence, Michigan Code of Judicial Conduct, and the rules for attorneys. All of those are available on there. And, I wish it was a little bit clearer on how to navigate that website. But, it's something that I just, once I eventually found the tab that I was showing you that has all those resources, I just bookmarked that on my browser and I go to it all the time. In fact, I have 2 pieces of that website that I have bookmarked so I can go to it all the time. That's not just for attorneys. Let's see. So I mentioned that case text, case maker, Westlaw, LexisNexis. Those are going to be really good tools to help you if you want to understand how cases and statutes work together. So which cases talk about which statutes, or which cases talk about different parts of the Constitution, or if a particular law, a statute, has been declared unconstitutional. So, for example, on the books here in Michigan, the 1945 Emergency Powers of Governor Act of 1945 is still on the books. So it would look like it's still a thing that you can utilize as a governor and that you'd have to follow as a Michigan resident. But if you searched for that in like Westlaw or Lexis or one of those kinds of resources that have the cases and statutes and everything all in one, then you'll be able to see that by searching for that, it'll show those cases where it's, clearly unconstitutional and it's, basically a null and void law. So those kinds of tools can be helpful. I don't know of any that are totally free. Like that Google Scholar one actually has been quite helpful. You can find quite a few things on there. Hopefully it'll continue to get better, although I know a lot of people are trying to stay away from things Google and YouTube and a variety of other products like that from the tech giants. But in the meantime, if it can help you, go ahead and use it. But if you're looking for a place that has the full Westlaw or LexisNexis or something, resources available, assuming that they'll let the public into public buildings, courthouses often will have law libraries, and you might not even know they exist. The law library literally might exist of one computer and a folding table. It's not much more than that in the Isabella County Courthouse, where the law library looks like it's basically a glorified large closet with these awkward pillars in the middle. And there's this computer way tucked off to the side. That's the law library, but it does have public access to be able to, utilize some of those resources. And some law libraries have the actual books on the shelves and, where you can start looking there too. Colleges often will have those resources available, typically not all of the laws, the statutes and things or cases in book form, but they will have that access available online. And law schools have that and are typically available to the public to be able to come in and to utilize at least during certain hours or, under certain parameters. I did not go to law school here in Michigan, so I don't know for sure. I've never set foot on a law school campus here in Michigan. That's not true. I have not gone to their law libraries or looked there, but it is a resource I want you to know about. Any kind of library. So sometimes there's in communities, bigger communities, there's actual law libraries available. But in, going to just a regular public library, they should have access to some of those things as well. You might be limited to a certain amount of time or whatever, be prepared to have to pay to print those kinds of things. But you might be able to just email the cases and statutes and things that you're finding to yourself. So I think those are the main resources I wanted to tell you about. I know that it doesn't sound like, a lot, or you might think that I have all these, tools at my disposal. I literally, um, I had been working off of a very old copy of the Michigan Court Rules until somebody volunteered to help me buy the new court rules. And I just read the whole thing cover to cover a few times, but these are available online. You can look at these, you can search these right online on those resources I showed you, and it'll help you kind of see how some of the things, start to come together. I literally read this, and I read the, basically the resources that I showed you are the ones that I use. I don't use the Westlaw. I don't use LexisNexis. I don't have case text or whatever. I don't pay for any program like that at all. I don't have the money to do that. I've done a lot of pro bono work and public defender work my entire career, so I've never had one of those fancy programs. But you can learn a lot and find a lot by just digging into the laws themselves. So I'm hoping that this was able to help you be able to see what some of those resources are. I'm going to see real quick if there are any questions that I'll be able to answer. One thing I did want to say to people is if you are hoping that I'm going to be able to represent you anytime in the near future, I can't. I am so overwhelmed with the projects we're working on and trying to get resources out to everyone that I just literally cannot take on a case. And it doesn't mean that your case is not important or relevant or that it couldn't help people in some other way. I'm sure that it could. But I get inundated with very important cases on a regular basis, and I'm just not in a position to be able to take on anymore. So I'm going to just look at questions. I can't tell what the link is that's that you put in there, Rhonda, so I'm not sure how to stop it, but I don't know much about, I see it's a House resolution. I don't know what it is. Gab. I don't see Lori on here tonight. Lori does a lot of she and I do teamwork on our social media posting. I think we technically have a Gab account, but it didn't seem to be all that great, so we don't do much with it. We do have a Parler account. We do have a Wimkin account. Restore Freedom, we have developed our own social media presence. It's called We the People, and we're working all the kinks out right now, and we'll get it pushed out to people as soon as we can. But we do have some of those other alternative types of things. Anyway, so we do technically have a Gab account. I just don't know where it stands with what we've posted on there. Okay. Dustin, I can't see. It looks like your comment is coming through from Facebook, and I'm not actually logged into Facebook. I'm using a different program, so I can't see your whole comment. I am deaf in one ear, and trust me, I understand needing to be able to have other resources, but I'm not the one responsible for providing all kinds of ways for people with who needed information in a variety of ways to get it. I am a person who's doing this for free, not spending these hours that I've been working on these videos for people tonight with my family that's what I really want to do, and I'm exhausted and I really want to sleep. I've been trying to get information out to people. Do there need to be more resources available for people with disabilities, such as people who are deaf or hard of hearing? Absolutely. I'm a part of that community. And I don't even know anything about sign language, so that wouldn't even help me any. So I don't even understand some of the resources that could be available, but it looks like you're mad at me saying that I'm not going to be able to help people with this video because of that. And I don't know what to say other than that. Yes, I agree, Laura. Too many are... Too many businesses are just following the garbage. Okay. Oh, yeah. Gab, Rumble, and Parler are all on the same server. That's interesting. People are not allowed to, stores are not allowed to kick people out for not wearing a mask. I talked about that briefly in the last video I did tonight. No, Jackie, private businesses cannot set their own rules to discriminate against people. That's not how our Constitution works. And where are all the other constitutional lawyers standing up in this country? Chris, if you find them, could you pass their number along to me so I could plug them in and get them going on, a few thousand cases? I would love to know where all the other constitutional lawyers are. The few that I have spoken with that claim to be constitutional attorneys are not entirely constitutional attorneys. So, yeah. Yes, I do think there's a big law library in Detroit, in Lansing and Grand Rapids as well. Oh, okay. I saw there was something about House Joint Resolution 14, and then the comments jumped because they're all coming in from the different places that this video is streaming to at one point. My town has signs up saying that it is the law to wear a mask. It is not. How are they able to get away with that? Because people aren't standing up to do the right thing. It takes enough people to stand up and say, no, enough is enough, to go to city council meetings, to go to county commission meetings, to, talk to their local sheriffs and police officers and, engage in those conversations, to give them the resources. It takes enough people willing to stand up and do something. And if you are the only one in your community, then be that one voice until the other people wake up. That's why people get away with it, because in a lot of situations, it's people waiting for somebody else to fix it. You got, hi. Oh, it's nice to see you, Mr. Robert Bowes, or to see your name. Bummer to hear that you got into a fight about a mask while getting a haircut. Okay. Yes, a lot of the universities do have law libraries. So I don't see that there are any other questions coming through. So hopefully that was able to be a good video and resource to you. Again, it might not look like a lot, but it's literally what I use. So if you think that I'm full of all this fantastic knowledge about the Constitution and our state statutes and our court rules and everything, that's because I'm utilizing the resources that I just showed you tonight. And yeah, it might be easier to use some of those, like I said, the Westlaw, LexisNexis, things like that can tie in some of those ideas together. And hopefully you can utilize some of those, law libraries or public library access to those portals and log in so you can see those kinds of resources available to you. But don't forget the ones that are available to you from your own computer right at home for free, like Google Scholar and the Michigan Supreme Court and some of those other things. So don't be afraid to get in there and read stuff. Don't think that if you read a case and you feel like, man, this doesn't make sense, or maybe you're reading a sentence and you think it would be good and you're reading it over and over and over again and you're wondering, why does it sound like it just doesn't make sense? It's not always you. Oftentimes it's not you. Let me put it this way. I don't know, I put it away now. I have like 220 different citations to different cases and statutes. I actually have more laws and things than that in there. Some of them have multiple laws in a citation. But anyway, the point is I had hundreds of pieces quoted from state law or from cases in the brief that I just filed with the Allegan County District Court. And I had my team look at it, the Restore Freedom team, and several of the team members, and keep in mind, not attorneys. And so they're people just like you that are, might be a computer expert or, a machinist or a teacher or a homeschooling mom or whatever. Okay. So real people. And they looked at the brief, and a vast majority of the comments that I was getting were, I had everybody share with comment access. A vast majority of the comments or suggestions that I was seeing were because they thought things were spelled wrong, or the grammar wasn't quite right, or the phrasing, just was awkward, and they wanted me to change it. And I would call them up or talk to them or whatever. Like when it was my husband, I could just look over and say, "Hey, hon, I see you want me to change this, but it's in quotes. I can't change that." You can change it if it's in a quote, and then you have to put brackets around it, and it gets complicated. But my point is that those people that were giving me the most feedback were seeing that time and time again, the things that they wanted changed were actually not my errors, but the errors of judges, or even of the legislature when things were worded in state statutes that was really awkward, or the fact that our state legislature spells things differently, like marijuana. Marijuana is spelled 2 or 3 different ways in a variety of different state statutes. Like you couldn't figure out how to spell it all the same way. So just keep that in mind. The reason why I share that with you is because I'm not trying to say that judges are stupid. Judges and legislators, they're people. They're people just like you, and they will often spell things wrong, or they will forget how to use proper punctuation or grammar, or they'll write something that just seems so convoluted that you're like, what? Don't feel bad. Don't think that it's just you, or that you're not able to read all cases because you've come across a few that are terrible to read. Keep at it. Keep whatever you're looking for. Don't give up, because oftentimes you're going to encounter where you come across the person who wrote that particular judge or that legislature or whatever. They were having an off day, or they're not the best at that part of their job. So just keep that in mind. If I think of any other resources that I have for you guys to be able to plug into, I will absolutely let you know. But do keep in mind, keep your eyes out for our notifications or announcements that will be coming out about the Constitution app that will be released as soon as the app stores give it the final approval. And sorry, I just saw there's a whole bunch of comments that just February 4th. My motion hearing in Allegan County is February 4th at 9 a.m. It does get hard for the public to attend, but you have every right to be there. In fact, there's a state statute, 600.1420, I believe, that says that basically all court proceedings in this state have to be open to the public, with a few, I think there's 3 exceptions listed, and none of those apply in this situation. So it is open to the public. They do say that they live stream all of their hearings. I haven't seen if that actually works well, but they do say that they live stream them all, but then they also say that they delete those videos as soon as the hearing is over. So I'm not sure why they would do that, but so you can at least try to see it that way. If we have the opportunity to do so, we will try to stream it, but of course they frown upon any kind of real access from the courtroom in that regard. But I'd love to have you there if you can go, or to be able to see it. Let me just see if I missed any questions that I'll be able to. Yes, the county courts do have law libraries. Some of them are very small, though, like I mentioned. Some of them it's just one computer. Are you going to sue them after they drop the charges? Am I going to sue them for violating the Constitution in so many different ways that it took me a 50-page brief to be able to explain it? I think I might have to do that. Yeah. I'm hoping that things get resolved in a way that it's going to reduce the amount of things that need to be addressed in Allegan County, but so far, that hasn't been the case. But we'll see, and I'm going to take it one step at a time. But I do want to try to capture it for my record. That is correct. And I was going to try to do that to the hearing that this last Monday, and we did not expect things to happen the way they did, and did not get to do that. So Kimberly, I am not sure what your question was, if it was to me or if it was part of a conversation with somebody else. You're talking about quoting them. I'm not sure what the question was. Did you see my 2 comments? John, I did not see it. That's the first one I've seen from you. Yes, so it's because I have people coming in from Facebook and people coming in from YouTube, and yeah, I'm not seeing, but it is after midnight and I've been doing videos for over 2 hours straight. So I am going to go to bed now, but I do want to just remind you, you're not alone in this fight. I'm not going anywhere. I know at times I've done as many as 3-4 videos a day because there's just various things going on. And then it seems like I go away and I'm not doing videos recently for a while. It's not because I took Christmas off or had a whole bunch of fun time with my family. I literally have worked every single day since the beginning of April. Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, New Year's Day, you name it. My goal will be to not work a bunch on my daughter's birthday, which is this Friday, because she turns 7. And I really want to celebrate that with her and with her sisters and my husband. Maybe he might have a hockey game. We're not sure. So Emma, come here. It is this baby girl's 7th birthday. And yes, she is up late, but she got to sleep in an insane amount of time this morning. So that's the fun of homeschooling. We get to not wake up too early, and then we get to stay up a little bit later, right? Go ahead and do your stuff. Thank you. So anyway, I'm not going anywhere. You're not alone in this fight. The fight for freedom will continue on. We do have a whole bunch of projects in store to kick it up a notch or 12. And really, the best thing to be able to fight for freedom right now is to make sure more and more people are doing it, that you're doing it, that you're trying to talk to other people. And even if you don't see them doing it in that moment, you're planting that seed. If you invite somebody to go to your local city council meeting and they don't go and they don't go and they don't go, but you're planting that seed, you don't know what it is that it's going to do to, I don't know. The idea is going to lead somewhere. So that's the best you can do, is try to help each other, try to help educate, point to resources, and just, keep doing your best to do that. But you're not alone. I'm not going anywhere. I hope you guys aren't going anywhere, because otherwise, screw Florida. I'm going to have to find a different tropical country to live in, because the U.S. won't be much anymore if we don't have people that are willing to stand up and fight for it, fight for our freedom. It's no longer just a thing that we need to think about people in the military sacrificing to be able to do. We need to be able to make those sacrifices here at home on an everyday basis. So thank you guys so much for, our friend Robert Bowe says, happy birthday, Emma. Owen, Michelle says happy birthday, and Kimberly and Lisa and Terry. Look at all these people said happy birthday. So also, if you know Rachel Atwood, who does our shorter videos for us and the call to action videos, her husband's birthday, Dan, his birthday is also Friday. Emma and Dan are birthday twins. So if you know them, then make sure to wish him a happy birthday as well. So you got more happy birthdays. What? Anyway, thanks so much, guys. I hope you all have a wonderful evening and that you are able to use this video to help you the next time you need to look up laws or other resources. And hopefully I will do some more videos very soon to give you some more information. But no matter what, even if you don't hear from me for a while, I'm still working hard to bring you some good stuff. So, all right, thanks, guys. Have a great night.